Hi there, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Girls. I'm Natty, and I'm representing Thailand. And I'm with...
Kate, and I'm representing America.
And
I'm Carmel, and I'm representing the Philippines.
And today we're going to be answering questions in regards to females in the workplace. Do enjoy. Should companies set a quota for women in leadership positions? Okay. Read. Okay. You're the odd one out, so do tell.
Okay, I said yes because, yes and no. I said yes because apparently, I did research on this back then, and apparently it has helped a lot of women rise up to leadership positions. Now we're seeing a lot of women there, and it must be because some companies have set up that quotas. But then I also find it unfair, why should a quota be there for women to have a place in a leadership position? It seems very unnecessary. That wouldn't happen for men, I assume. But yeah, that's why I said yes and no.
Yeah, I kind of agree because I don't want to have a position because I'm filling a quota. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are a lot of women in leadership roles. There can be more, but I don't think there needs to be a quota.
And if we're talking about feminism, right, the concept of that women being equal to men, I think putting a quota purely based on their gender does sound a little bit strange. It's like kind of giving an award to the best female chef. Your cooking abilities have nothing to do with your gender. Similar to being a leadership or being able to lead a group successfully has nothing to do with your gender. So I feel like if there's a better male candidate that can do the job, then let the male have it, right? Because intelligence and the ability to lead someone has nothing to do with our gender. So I totally disagree with this.
Yes, I think quotas make the measurement of being successful and all. It starts to become more about the gender rather than your own capabilities. But if the quotas seem to be working someplace and it's improving somehow, then that's great. But it would be great that in the future it wouldn't require a quota for women to be in leadership positions. Yeah.
For a newsroom setting, we did have a situation where there were all of the editorial staff for news were men at one point, and then a woman was hired. And she didn't really have experience with, she was hired as a web editor, and she didn't have experience with social media or anything, but she did bring a lot to the table, but I think it was just to kind of fill the quota.
Right.
You know,
that's what I don't like about these big multinational companies that feel like, we need to add the word diversity in our portfolio so when we present it to the world, it looks better. And it's purely an image thing. It's not really genuinely coming from the need to help women, empower women up. You just want to look good in the public eye, and you're kind of defeating the purpose of diversity.
Should dating in the office be prohibited?
All right. And beep. Okay.
No.
It should not be.
No.
Oh.
Well. Do tell.
I did this because I think that it should not be allowed if somebody is in a leadership role dating somebody who is under them. Okay, but if you're dating someone from a different department who's not related to, you don't oversee their work.
Hopefully they're not related to each other.
Not related in the workplace.
Okay,
They're not
clarified.
Yeah, so I think that's fine. I've known people, in newsrooms, other reporters who've dated, some married, and I have dated people in the workroom before, not in this workroom, just to clarify.
It's not Tim.
And it's fine. I mean, if you're in, you guys are in the same level, but if somebody is higher up and they have a direct, they oversee what you're doing, that's not okay.
It could get very tricky in that position. Yeah.
Somebody, if you guys really want to date, then somebody needs to change a position. don't do that.
Yeah. What about you?
So I said no because you can't exactly stop people from liking each other. Sometimes that really can't be helped. So I don't think it should be prohibited, but more regulated. So maybe companies could start this it sounds really odd to me actually, but like a relationship policy
Okay.
where in HR can actually regulate relationships that go on, like so you can date like, but then you gotta follow some set of rules, you know. And I feel like prohibiting could actually lead people that want to date each other even more frustrated, and they could feel like leaving the company just so that they can date. And what if they are actually very good employees, like your best ones, and then they leave just because they cannot date? So that's why I said no. It could be regulated, but then again, the policy does sound a little odd to me, but it sounds like it could work.
Wait, when you say regulated, what kind of rules? Just give me one. Like, you must not hold hands at work.
Oh, I guess PDA maybe, like extreme
Okay.
PDA, like it's a little bit unnecessary in the work. We're in the workplace.
Uh-huh.
It's better to be professional in the work, and I guess at best keep your personal lives outside. The moment you enter the workplace, everything is strictly professional. Yeah.
Right. Well, I agree with you. I also said it should not be prohibited because I think once you put a restriction on something, the more taboo and like, ooh, let me see, right? And also, I agree with you. You can't really choose who you fall in love with. The only tricky part is that what Caitlin says, like if there's a power dynamic where you can kind of manipulate the person, or the other person is trying to get a raise or something, and the intentions are not good. It all goes back to intentions. Are you dating that person because you love that person, or do you have ulterior motives why you're dating that
But
person?
even if you love them, like you might not realize you got to tell them, hey, you got to step it up. But you know, you're dating them also, so you're like, oh, how do I tell them they need to get better? You know, you might let things slide, or if you guys are angry, you might even get even more angry at them at work. You know.
Okay. This is our final question. Can strong female leaders be good at work and also a good housewife/mom?
All right. Beep. Okay, I'm the odd one out.
Okay, so when I read the question, I just thought about the women that I grew up with, and also the ones that I have worked with, and they're in leadership positions. And not only are they like really, really good at their work and excellent leaders, as from what I've experienced and heard, but they're also really great at home. They're good moms, they're good wives, everything. Like, and so I don't think it's impossible to be both, you know. Yeah.
So talking from personal experience, right, Kate?
Yeah, so I would say that yes, they can be good mothers. Housewife is the only thing, I guess, that, you know, when I think of housewife, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she raised 4 kids, never had a full-time job while she was a mother. So when it comes to being a housewife and doing, you know, all of that work, I mean, one person, it's really hard to do all of that. But I think if you're married and you share the work, then yes, like a woman can be a really strong leader if she has a good support system. When it comes to being a single mother, I don't know how people do that, but I know it's possible. For me, that would be the biggest challenge, because you know, just trying to, you know, clean my house, you know, get food for the night. I mean, for me, it's difficult being a manager here and then trying to deal with myself.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having
Agree.
children. But I know, you know, if I had a good support system, it would be doable for sure.
Now, the reason why I did this, and before any females unsubscribe from this channel, I have to explain first that after hearing you guys talk, I might want to change my answer to this. Now, the reason why I chose this first, though, was because I feel like the human brain can only handle so much. And whether you want to lead a full team at work or be home and be a good stay-at-home mom, they're very different skill sets to begin with. And they both require tremendous time, effort, and a lot of personal skills. And you kind of have to choose either one or the other. It's very hard to do both. And a good example of that is the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She's a very strong female leader, and she's led the country tremendously. But she is not a stay-at-home mom. In fact, her husband is more hands-on with their kids, and you kind of need that. Now, the reason why female leaders can't really be hands-on at home too, it's not because the females don't have the ability to lead at work, but it's because they have priorities elsewhere. Especially if you have kids, I think most women, most not all, would prefer to nurture the child, to be with the child, to protect the child, and therefore all the energy kind of goes back at home. But if she had to lead at work, then she would obviously put the child in good hands, good care, but she can't really do both. But again, this is not because females are not capable of being leaderships at work. It's that their priorities are more towards families usually.
And typically men haven't been stay-at-home parents,
Mhm.
you know, so it's hard to try to get somebody else to also change their lifestyle, you know. And when it comes to single mothers, like, they're superheroes, you know?
I think like it is possible, but then again, it takes a really, really strong support system at home, because you can't, like you said, there's only so much a person, not just women, but a single person can handle. Like, you can't, it's really hard to try to excel in both. As much as you try, you're gonna be burned out by the end of it, right? So you really need that good support system at home, if that's like, if you're trying to be a strong leader and a good mom as well and a housewife.
That's exactly right what you said, that it goes for both genders. And that's why we hear a lot that dads are often present, but they're not involved. And that's the whole thing. Like, they are there to provide you with the financial means. They're here at the dinner table, but their mind is always like off to work somewhere. So they're not mentally with the kids, but they want to be there, but they just can't.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I think we ran out of questions for this episode. Thank you, girls, so much for sharing your opinions with us. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you did,
Please click the like button, subscribe, and the bell to make sure you don't miss a single episode.
until next time, guys, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
watching. Bye,
Bye.
girls.
Bye.
Bye.